Hello everyone, welcome to another Dragunov guide, and today we're gonna talk about Dragunov's heat. Alright, so I think that most of you by now are already pretty accustomed with the concept of heat. Once you pop your heat burst or you land your heat engager, you are allowed to have increased chip damage on all of your attacks. Your health bar will recover much faster, and you also have access to a heat smash, and you can also cancel your heat engagers into a heat dash that, if it connects, usually gives you a full combo. Not necessarily all of your attacks will do that. 1-2-1, for example, with Dragunov will only give you a knockdown into a guaranteed back 1+2. But I think that most of you are already pretty accustomed with these universal mechanics, right? What I wanted to talk about in this video is really the unique mechanics that are exclusive to Dragunov. Once you activate your heat, you have access to certain special attacks, right? Like this throw. I mean, you can also use this throw without heat. The thing is that when you have heat, that throw becomes basically unbreakable, right? So I wanted to talk about this, maybe dive a little bit into his heat smash a bit, but I would say let's start with his unbreakable throws, because he has quite a few of them. He has this fake, I don't know what's the name. This is basically a cancel. You do 4/2 and then you cancel that with 1+2. As you can see there, if you are in heat, that becomes unbreakable. And then he also has, of course, his ultimate tackle. From heat there, he has an unbreakable ultimate tackle. Of course, by unbreakable, I mean that the first part, like the initial tackle, is unbreakable. Then after that, there is a three-way mix-up afterwards. Once I hit Paul, once I take down Paul like that, I can press either 1, 2, or 1+2 here. And there Paul has to guess. He has a chance to break the follow-up, but he has to guess. There are 3 possible outcomes. And you have several ways to access to that ultimate tackle, but I would say let's first talk about this one, like this cancel here. He has 2 versions, one from 4/2, where you press 1+2 afterwards, and he does that, or he has this from 1-3-2. 1-3-2, you press 1+2, and you will cancel that into that throw. I would say this version here is pretty useless. You don't want to use it. This is not really a string that you want to use too much. Maybe 1-3, but definitely not 1-3-2. I think it's way too risky. Outside from, you know, back turn, the combos, stuff like this. This is a natural on back turn. And this can be blocked, basically. So this is good when your opponent is back turn, but for the most part it's not a string that you want to use too much. And you want to mainly focus on this one. I think this is probably the best option if you want to use this throw here. This is a 1+2 throw. When you don't have heat, all the opponent has to do is press 1+2 and he can break the throw. But when you are in heat, that becomes unbreakable. You can see the spark there. There's a spark that signals that is unbreakable. And the interesting thing about this throw is that, as you can see, the 4/2 looks very similar to the running 2. So that's basically a big hint for how you want to try to use this move. Because the move on its own, it's actually pretty reactable, as you can see. It's 29 frames. I think if you're I think a good player will be able to see this animational reaction and duck the throw, which is still a high, so it's still duckable. And the interesting thing is that this still has a cancel. As you can see, this has a cancel where you hold the back here. You press 4/2. 1+2, and then you hold back, as you can see, and you can cancel that maybe into a, let's say, a back 4/3. That I would say it's interesting, but unfortunately I want to show you that there is a catch when you are in heat here, as you can see. So you might think, oh, that's good, right? I can do this, or I can cancel that into a mid, right? That's gonna be very good. But unfortunately, what happens when you are in heat is that If you go with the throw, there's gonna be a spark there. But if you cancel the throw, even if you are in heat, you're not gonna see the spark. So a very good player is gonna react to that. So this mix-up is actually reactable. You duck as soon as you see this animation, and then if you don't see the spark, you stand up. If you see the spark, you stay down. So I don't know if Bandai Namco did that on purpose. I guess they did that on purpose to make this mix-up less strong and more of a gimmick. But the way I like to use this cancel throw really is kinda use it to catch people stepping my run too. Because as you can see, the animation is very similar, and the throw itself, it's homing, just like Dragunov's regular throws. It's homing, Dragunov and every single other character, it's homing, right? So you can try to do that if you do a running 2 and then you expect your opponent to try and sidestep you, expecting another running 2. You can try to do that and catch the sidestep because the move it's homing. I also like to use it in certain OT situations. For example, after this one throw, something like this. Now Paul is pressing buttons, but let's say that he just tries to wake up like this, tries to hold back. You can do something like this, and you know, that's very interesting to try and use, especially of course if you have heat. That's of course unbreakable. You might expect a running 2 because that's a common strategy. After a throw with Dragunov, you want to try to set up a running 2 to keep the pressure. And he's expecting the running 2, and instead you cancel that into a throw. That's also interesting. But now let's talk about his ultimate tackle. He can access to that through many different strings. One of them is back 4-2-1. You press, instead of pressing 1, you press 1+2, and you get the ultimate tackle. You can access that from his pigeon roll, I think it's called. You can access to ultimate tackle if you have heat. You can access to ultimate tackle from running 2 by pressing down back 1+2, or from full crouch downward 1. You press full crouch downward 1 and then you press 1+2. You have several ways. Unfortunately, this is not accessible when you don't have heat. But you have several ways. Or you also have sidestep 1+2, 1+2, 1+2. He has several ways. I would say his ultimate tackle is pretty good, although it depends on the transition. For example, after a running 2, I think the move is very slow. And you can see it from the startup frames here. It says 40. This takes 40 frames to come out. I think most people online can react to this. They can see the ultimate tackle and stop me. So I would say that is not the best way to use it, not after a running 2, because it's a bit too slow. Maybe after back 4-2, that's good. It is slow, it takes 40 frames, it's a bit slow. Maybe this is also, yeah, this is also pretty slow, but I think that after running 2, it's a bit easier to see. I think that, because most people, they know running 2 doesn't have extensions, right? So back 4-2-1, there is an extension, so most people might want to respect you. They are not gonna press buttons because they expect the high, which is a counter hit string. This will lead to a back 3 guaranteed. So for that reason, I think that they're gonna respect you for more frames. Running 2, they know after running 2, there's not really much you can do. So as soon as they see that transition, they might want to interrupt you. Much more effective, in my opinion, is his heat smash. His heat smash is much faster. I think it basically resembles, as you can see, it says 26 frames. It's much faster. It basically resembles his Rage Drive from Tekken 7. That's basically the same thing. I think this is much more effective, although most people, they expect the ultimate tackle after the heat smash. So personally, most of the times I just check them with a downward 1, because most people they try to duck or interrupt. You want to get creative with pigeon roll. I've seen clips of Dragunov players using this in the most absurd setups. Remember that after that you also have access to wall standing moves if you don't go with the ultimate tackle. You press sidestep 3+4 and then you do wall standing 2, wall standing 1 or 1-2. You have access to all of your wall standing moves after that. So you can do whatever, you can mix up the opponent. If they think that you're gonna go with the ultimate tackle, you can mix them up with a wall standing move. You wanna try to get creative with Pigeon Roll. But really that's it. As you can see, Dragunov's heat options are a bit on the gimmicky side. You can try to find some utility with some of his options like this one. Mainly as a running 2 mix-up. It can be interesting to track people sidestepping you. Ultimate Tackle is also pretty good, although it's a bit slow, 40 frames, and if you're playing against a really strong player, he's gonna be able to interrupt you. But you might get away with it every once in a while. You know, it's not that easy to react, but it depends on the level of your opponent. And overall, you want to try to be creative. It's definitely not... it definitely doesn't have the strongest enhanced attacks in the game. There are characters with way better options, but yeah, you have to get a little bit creative with his heat. It's not useless, but it's a bit on the gimmicky side, unfortunately. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and take care.